Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Hello there, and welcome. Catherine is in the house already. I might look a little bit odd to you right now, and I am odd, but it might look a little bit odd. I put a new sunscreen on my face this morning, and I am telling you what, something happened, but I'm all red and my face is a little stingy. I haven't been able to wash it. What I've been putting on it is just coconut oil just to kind of soothe it, but it feels like it's burnt. So that's my sensitive skin right there. So I apologize if I look just a little bit like I rolled out of bed. I promise you I did not. Jocelyn and Carol. Hi, Carol. How are you doing out there? Are you, do you have water? I know that what they're doing in a lot of these towns out in, the Asheville area and north is that they're bringing in water trucks and jimmying up water systems. Asheville got hit really hard with their water. All of us have our electricity back here in our area, but I'm just wondering. Alice is in the house too. Good to have you here. Yeah, so, the news cycle has finally simmered down, but there's still stuff going on. And, the result of all these rumors and stuff has been more threats of violence and what have you against FEMA workers. That made the national news. And that was just locally, not too far away from here. And boy, does that just break my heart. So, be a good steward of your words and make sure that you're giving people stuff from like actual sources like the FEMA website, for example, and that kind of thing, because this is how we help people and save lives. Some very dirty water, electric since Thursday, no internet. So she bought a Starlink. People are buying Starlinks all over the place here. That's really smart though. It's a good idea. My son was trying to get me to do that too. Some very dirty water. Well, it's going to settle down. I know. At least it's, I'm not diminishing, but it's coming in. So that means that we have an opportunity here. Anyway, lots of things happening, by the way, here. Carol, I know, Carol says we're very fortunate. We are fine and our house is fine. Carol, I said the very, very same thing. And then for this whole, it's been 2 weeks, but for the last couple of weeks, I've just felt a little bit off. And we had a big conversation, a bunch of women that live here. And those of us who, have had our house is fine and we are fine, just inconvenienced, right? But it's okay to feel a little shaken up. It's a little okay to be like, I'm so glad there's not a tree that's crashed through my house. But at the same time, I got a little rattled through this whole thing. So anyway, I totally empathize with you, and I'm so glad you're well and good. This week, what we have going on is several things. We're mid-October, y'all. You know what this means? It means the holidays are breathing down our necks. And I don't know about you, but I get a little squirrely around the holidays, and it's just like, oof, so much to do. Our holiday planner has been a huge hit. You have the option of just doing the download digital and then printing it off and doing it yourself, 3-ring press, or you can have it sent off to Lulu. We're using them now they one-off print your books for you, and they just do a phenomenal job, and it's fast and dirty. You could do that. Or you could even send your file over to Kinko's and have them do it. But the point is that our holiday planner has everything in it that you're going to need. It's starting like right now. So go to savingdinner.com/planner and just take a look at everything that's offered there. In addition to the planner, we're also going to give you our holiday cheers menu, which basically what it's doing is just helping you not fall off the rails and just go completely crazy during the holidays. Nobody needs that. And a few other goodies there, but you'll find it all at savingdinner.com/planner. And for those of you who are in our sprint group, next, doing the total experience. I think I'm saying it right. Am I not? The total experience. Anyway, this is your day of coaching. Your evening of coaching is next Monday. That's on October 21st. So what I want you to do is basically check your email, and check it out. But everything, you can find everything for the sprint at savingdinner.com/hub. You can start at any time. That's just how we roll with this whole thing. And, the sprint is just, I always say this, but it's true. It is not a diet. It's a correction. And it helps you so that you're never, ever, ever going to be doing the weigh, measure thing, counting points, peeing on sticks, none of that stupid stuff. But instead, you're taking care of yourself in the way that you want to. And it's easy. And here are the recipes and blah, blah, blah. And it's all there. It's the complete experience. Thank you, Jenny. If she didn't, straighten me out, I don't know. I might be as curly as my hair is now. So there's that. And then also, of course, I cannot tell you how excited I am for our retreat that's coming up. It's in exactly 1 month. We start 1 month, and it's going to be starting here at my house. If you do the VIP experience for appetizers and wine and watching the sunset on the lake. Yes. And then we move to the next day, which we're going to the barn right here in Conisty Falls, and it's right down the street from where I live. And there you're going to just have this is how I'm looking at it. Lives will be changed. That's all I know. Lives will be changed. Rhonda Britton, a dear friend of mine. I mean, you know how you meet people sometimes and it's just instantaneous? That's Rhonda. Rhonda and I just glommed onto one another. And we have, since 2016, been talking about doing something together. And it's here now. It's here. And we're doing it on the 16th. So my strong suggestion is that you buy both the VIP experience and the workshop for that day. You're going to get to meet a lot of Conistians, ladies who live here, my friends, ladies I play pickleball with. We got a ton coming to the workshop. And of course, Mother Hen will be there wearing all of my pickleball medals. You know she will be, because that's how she rolls. And guess who else is going to be there? Jenny. Jenny's coming, which is so great because, listen, if I can't hold it together during a show, how do you think I would do during a whole workshop without her? I'm telling you. Anyway, very excited that Jenny's going to be there. So, hey, come on down. You're going to want to check it out. savingdinner.com/retreat. Jeanette's in the house. A lot of people buying the virtual experience too, which I think is fabulous because you're going to want to, check that out. And we'll do it just exactly like we do it. I know, Carol, you're going to be there. I can finally meet you. But anyway, it's just, everything about it is just, I don't know. We've dotted all the I's, we've crossed all the T's, and the excitement is, I cannot wait. So just saying all of that, got to take a look at that. And guess what we have today? We're going to be talking about the magic of magic. Because there is that certain something that, that we sprinkle on top of things just to make it extra delicious. I made a Mexican vegetable soup today. And guess what I did? I put a little extra on top. Cilantro, just made it. That little extra something, that's what magic is, that little extra something in your life. We're going to talk about what that's all about. But meanwhile, do not forget about our mega holiday ebook sale. I'm talking 1,000 recipes, y'all. I'm talking easy one pot meals so that when you're going through the holidays, you got stuff and you just throw into the crock pot and run and go, shopping or whatever. And all of our holiday volumes of pretty much everything. We've got gifts, we've got holiday like food gifts that you can give, we've got cookies, we've got treats, name that tune. It's all there. And it's $57, but I'm telling you, this is years worth of work. And if we're just to show you, this is how it came out one at a time, it's $366 worth of stuff. This is a lot of stuff. It's great stuff, and you're going to love what you get. So check that out at savingdinner.com/show. All right. I think I told you everything you needed to know. Okay, check out, this is the quote of the week, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Have you ever watched that movie, by the way, of Ruth Bader Ginsburg? It took my breath away on how, I'm not this radical feminist by any stretch of the imagination, but how women were so put down in that era and how they were just dismissed and diminished. And it shows up in that movie because it's based on her memoir. It's based on what she lived through. But she says real change, enduring change happens one step at a time. And her big claim to fame was arguing her case in front of the Supreme Court against gender inequality. And what the case was that they denied this man his benefits for taking care of his elderly father because he was a man and not a woman. And she said, who cares? He was a caring relative. It shouldn't be gender specific. And then he said, but if you're going to change that, then you're going to have to change the whole thing on the way we look at gender about all kinds of, and they, brought up all kinds of stuff. Holy cow. Just got to watch the movie. Just got to watch it because it'll make you go, oh, I'm so glad things have changed, Anyway, so let's talk about magic. What is it? Anyway, this is a quote from Arthur C. Clarke. Magic's just science that we don't understand yet. Did you write that down? Of course you did. Because that, in a nutshell, is how it is. There are things that we do not understand. We've talked about vibration and high vibration and low vibration and how it's woo-woo and weird and all this other kind of stuff. And then you see the demonstration of vibration on a vibe plate and you watch sand shift from just being plain old granules of sand to being a beautiful snowflake-like thing. And you turn up the vibration and then you see intricate patterns, like something you've never seen before. If you've never done that, go to YouTube and put, vibration plate sand and you'll see it. And it makes you appreciate the unseen things that we don't understand. That's what magic is. Science we don't understand yet. Isn't it? So cool. I love that. But there's a quote that from Goethe that I really, really love, and it's magic is believing in yourself. If you can do that, you can make anything happen. Is that not the truth? The magic of believing in yourself. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Because how often do we not believe in ourselves? How often do we diminish who we are? Do we dismiss who we are? Just like how Ruth was talking about how that's what she did every single day, is had to deal with that. But we do ourselves too. We do that. And here's the thing that I know about magic. We can't wait for magic to just fall from the sky and fall into our laps. It doesn't work that way. It's very much like confidence and motivation. We've talked a lot about that. Confidence happens when you do the thing anyway, and then you have confidence after. When we sit there and we wait for confidence to show up first, we have a long wait ahead of us. Same with motivation. We have to do the thing first because that's the trigger that makes it motivating, that makes it happen, that causes us to then go through with it. Then we get the extra magic of momentum, which you've heard me before. Motivation plus momentum equals magic. And that's what we're talking about today. I just really good stuff. We have to be intentional about making our own magic in our lives. So last time I checked, there was no handbook, there's no manual, there's no anything out there that says, here's what you need to do. Well, actually, there is kind of well, I wouldn't call it that, but if you're in our book club, you know, big magic. But basically, it's just creative living, right? It's going beyond the fear. That's a big secret, I think, and the hack to getting magic in your life is going beyond the fear and not allowing fear to hold you back. So listen, it's individual though. And it's you designing the recipe. It's you creating and concocting what it is that would make your life magical. You get to define that. Hey there, Emily. Good to see you. And I believe it all starts with one thought. And that thought is, what if I believed in myself? What if I just started believing it in myself? And connect the dots with what it is that you believe about who God is. Hear me here. If you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that alone is magic, right? And the God of the universe says that about you, says it about me, says it about every single person on this planet. And can you imagine that God himself declared that you needed to be here right now, right here today, not in the 1800s, not at the dawn of time, but now. You needed to be here. So there's a purpose, there's a mission, there's a reason that you are here. And you're not on another continent, right? Another culture, and you're not another sex. You are who you are on purpose and for purpose. Amen? Come on, Emily, give me an amen. So this is a big fat deal. And it's something that all of us need to step into, accept, and claim. It's a birthright. It's a birthright. I just love this so much. So there's magic in your life. There's magic in my life. There's magic in all of our lives. We need to start looking for that, expecting it, and checking the world out for evidence that it's there, because it is. Otherwise, why would you be fearfully and wonderfully made and here right now, today, and not on some other time, some other culture, some other sex? Why? So if you've been divinely called, which I believe you have because you're here, then we need to understand, how do we line ourselves up with the divine purpose that is ours? And again, you know, and I've said this so many times, purpose has seasons in our lives. We're not always on that same purpose. You know, in 2001, when I first started Saving Dinner in 2001, it was menumailer.net, if you remember, so many years ago. And my purpose was I was passionate about it. It was my mission. It was to get families back to the dinner table. It later morphed into savingdinner.com because I had a testimonial of a lady who said, "You helped me save dinner in my house." And it was just very, very emotional, lovely testimonial. I went, that's it, Saving Dinner. Because we were at that time, I was under contract for my first book and wrestling with the name. They Random House came up with all kinds of names that were just, and I said, it's got to be Saving Dinner. And they were like, ooh, love it. Let's go. And that's the whole thing. And that's the Saving Dinner. We're still there. My purpose has changed. I am still passionate about getting families back to the dinner table. Notice we haven't stopped. Menu Mailer, which is now Dinner Answers, still there, still doing the work. But I am 24 and a half, 25 years older than I was. My children aren't here anymore. They're grown. They support themselves. They're cooking their own meals, folks. You know, they've got jobs. All of that. I'm done with my child rearing, but I'm still passionate to see this happen for families. In the meantime, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at me. I'm looking at women of a certain age, and the magic that I see of what could be, it's why we're having this retreat. It's why we have the full bloom supplements. All of it is the magic of the entirety of my mission. Do you see what I'm saying here? Do you see the connection? The purpose is the magic. And there's magic in the purpose when you start seeing it that way. Put your glasses on with it. And if you believe in yourself, I believe in myself. There are times when I'm just a little rickety about it, but I believe in myself most of the time. You know, I believe that if this is what I feel in my heart, so passionate about, I must be called to be doing this. This is a calling. It's important. It's a mission. Are you there with me? Do you have a calling? Do you have a mission? Do you have a purpose in your life? Do you see the magic in all of it? That's what I'm talking about. And there's 7 huge principles that goes along with this that helps to create this awareness that each one of us needs so that we can harness this. Because that magic is also energy. And that energy, when it is in alignment with your purpose, and it's in alignment with what it is that you believe and how it is that you want to be in this world and how you want to help other people and on and on and on, it doesn't get any better than that. That's just the way it is. So let's take a look at where we need to start with this, because I want you to feel the magic. I want you to feel the tingle of what it feels like to be excited about your purpose and your mission and what you feel God has called you to. The first thing starts with awareness. What does awareness do but bring us to a place of greater understanding? Most of us just walk through our days on automatic pilot without the awareness, without saying, hey, God, show me what it is that I need to do. I'm looking and searching for evidence in my heart. This is what I feel like I would love to be doing. Is this in alignment with what you would have for me as well? You know, this is how we have to do it. And then we find the patterns and we find the evidence. We find the good stuff, we find the bad stuff, and we sift through it. That's what we need to do. This creates fine-tuning in our lives. And what happens? We become more active and less reactive, which is so important. We're living our lives on purpose and for purpose. And I will say that this whole process requires extraordinary gentleness with yourself and patience. And it's a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. It starts to bubble up and make itself known. You are all a witness to how this whole thing happened with Full Bloom. When I was turning 60 years old, I wrote a very passionate email saying, I don't know if I could cook another chicken breast on TV anymore, y'all, or do it. This is what I'm drawn to. This is how I want to help. This is what I see. And the emails we got back were, it was legendary. I think it's the most emails we've ever had back from any show ever, and or email ever. But that's exactly what I'm talking about, is that this awareness and how it takes a minute. It needs to develop. Think of a baby as learning to walk. And before that baby can run, it needs to go through a few stumbles along the way. Am I right? And then presence is another thing, because that is the act of noticing, looking for the evidence, asking to see it, paying attention, paying attention. Does this thing, does this act, does this food create the life that I want? Does it? Does it keep me in alignment with what I feel drawn to? Is this my mission? Is this the magic for the mission? Thank you, Arlene, you sweet thing. And hi, Virginia, by the way, Emily. Emotional intelligence, number 3. And we've talked a lot about emotional intelligence here on this show. But to me, emotional intelligence is an uncovered beauty of who we can become. Because most of us most of us like to think that we're making emotionally intelligent decisions, but are we? It's okay to ask the questions. This is not a put down situation. This is a place where we have to discover the deeper connections to our humanity. That's what it's about. So, how do we do this? This is what it is. This is how we do it. Number one is we need to recognize our own and others' emotions by honoring a way and not deferring the way. Okay? Honoring the way in which they do it and not deferring to them. And two, managing our own emotions without feeling the need to manage others. Isn't that funny? I mean, that's a tough one if you're a big control freak like I am. And the last one is to understand our own emotions and those of others. Because all of this is what brings in emotional intelligence. And a good example of this is sympathy versus empathy. We know sympathy, oh, I'm so sorry that your dog passed away or something happened. And while empathy is walking with that person through the muck, there's two different things. So it's easy to send a sympathy card, for example. It's harder to be empathetic and to walk with that person. But that is the requirement of emotional intelligence, not just lip service, but walk in it too. So remember this, that emotional intelligence is just basically a conscious effort. It's hard, it's messy, it's not, one and done kind of a thing, but this is what puts us into this place of deeper connection. And the deeper connection is the thing that closes the gap on magic. And speaking of connections, when we're connected to ourselves, when we're connected to others, when we're connected to God, we are purposely connecting to our inner garden and intentionally tending it like we would most cherished rose bushes ever, right? This is what we do. We're seeing inside of us that beauty that could be. And if you tend roses, they have to be pruned. If you tend roses, they have to be fed a certain way. And years and years and years ago, I had in the 80s when my husband at the time and I bought our first house, we had a home that had 40-something rose bushes on it. And I learned rather quickly what needed to happen to tend to these old rose bushes. They were beautiful. And it was a lot of work. But to keep them beautiful, this is what you did. And this is what we do when we're purposely connecting to the gardens of our hearts. We're doing the work of pruning. We're doing the work of feeding. And we're nurturing and tending and loving up this beautiful garden of ours. Amen? Hey, Lynn. So, by the way, this is exactly how magic is cultivated. This is how creativity is spurred and intuition is leaned into. And what do you think all that is, right? Capital M, magic. So that's how we find our uniqueness. And the part of us that's divine is remembering whose we are from where we came. So this is the truth of connection, because your connection, this kind of connection that I'm talking about, that is your true north. That is the thing that collectively and synergistically creates a bridge to our whole selves, heart, mind, body, and soul. And that's a mouthful right there. But if you think about that, just that sentence alone could be something to meditate on and how true that is. 5 is stillness. Have you ever heard the Bible verse, be still and know that I am God? That is a call to your soul. That is God tapping you very gently on the shoulder and just saying, just be still. And that quietness and that peacefulness of just nothingness can be absolutely moving and life-changing. And that's meditation as well, right? It's a lens turned inward. Not so that you can dissect and say, oh, you're this, you're that, blah, blah, and take apart your life, but it's to create the space for your heart, your soul, and your mind to be nurtured and to be connected and to just be. And I will tell you, this is how we manage to work our way to the place of living in full bloom, because blooming is magical. You know, you ever bought a flower and watched it bloom out? It's a beautiful thing to see. Peonies are my favorite flowers. And when I see them and they're little buds like this, and then they just, whoosh, the biggest flower. I mean, every single time I'm always like, oh, look how beautiful they are. Look how big they are. Smell the fragrance. That's living life in full bloom. That's the magic of being fully bloomed. Flowers do it. People can do it too, right? Especially women. So it's in the stillness that this magic happens, by the way. It's in the stillness. It's in the quiet. It's writing, getting up a little bit earlier than everybody else and being in the dark and just taking that time with yourself. Sometimes your eyes don't even see it, but you sense it in your soul. And that's your connection right there. That's the stillness allowing you to see that. I'll tell you, I don't know, that to me is just everything. This is the magic of meditation too, by the way, and how it just moves the needle in your life. And then you need to take inspired action, because guess what? Talk is cheap. It really is. And especially when it comes to love. And when I'm talking about love, I am talking about loving yourself, loving others, loving your spouse, loving your children, loving your pet, loving your community, all of it. Love is something that we want to lead with. And it's not done a lot in this world. And that's magical, y'all, when we lead with love. That's magical when that is a primary motivator. How do we love these people up? So I also want to say one other thing, and that is that talk is cheap when we don't keep the promises to ourselves. And you know what that feels like? We all know what that feels like. We create a degree of untrustworthiness in ourselves, and we stop believing ourselves. And we start thinking, I just can't do goals. It's too hard, because we have this tattered record of what was in our past. So, yeah, maybe we do. Maybe that's what we have. But, I'm going to tell you, our amygdalas like to remind us of that. And they like to say, oh, let's just get out the, the record keeping here and make a list. But I'm going to just say this, your amygdala needs to take a seat, because your prefrontal cortex, let's work with our bodies here. This is the big decision maker, and you can override your amygdala. Your amygdala is saying, just get away from all of that. It's just too much. It's too hard. It's too this. But this is the way that we forge a new path to the magic, and that's forgiveness. We forgive ourselves. Okay, acknowledge it first. Acknowledge I broke promises to myself, but I'm not going to do that right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these really tiny little steps. I'm going to incorporate X into here, like do the 4-minute workout in the morning. Maybe you're not going to make it to the gym, but you did the 4-minute workout. Good for you. And you know what? Let it be enough, because we all break promises to ourselves. But we can also stop dismissing ourselves and saying, I'm just not worthy of these goals. Yes, you are. Tell your amygdala to take a seat. The prefrontal cortex is in control, and it's going to do the heavy lifting. Amen? That's what I say. So the last thing of all is love. Of course, we want to lead with love, because love is all there is. Do you want to live in a world without love? Do you want to live in a world with fear, or do you want to live in a world with love? I mean, it's an easy question. And we are the arbiters of love if we choose to be so. If we choose it. If we understand our purpose and we're going to create that magical vibrancy that we all want, that is waiting for us, then we have to look at love. Because love completely envelops the whole thing. What would love do? We ask the questions. What would love do? How can I show up? Am I in a place of love? Because this is the entirety of what everything is. Love. It's magical, and it's missing in action in so many people's lives. But we can choose love every single time. We can choose the magic of love. Because when our goals are wrapped in love, when our truths, when our missions and purposes in life are all about helping others and being about love, you've got magic. Every single time. The magic's yours. And that's what I think anyway. I don't know about you. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. And pray for my little face. It's really hurting. And I will definitely, I hope to see you at the retreat. Please be at the retreat if you can. savingdinner.com/retreat. Go check out the details. And I really appreciate all the fact that you all show up. If you found this helpful, feel free to share it because I'm there for you. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.